time to come home. Well, it's 3 a.m., I must be lonely. I wanna push you around.
Good came out of it. It's something that wasn't planned, that wasn't necessarily going to happen.
Did fame burn them out? Or was it ego, exhaustion, or just too much success too fast? In the late 90s and early 2000s, they ruled the airwaves. Rob Thomas's voice was everywhere. Songs like Push and Real World weren't just hits, they defined an era. Then the spotlight dimmed. Rumors began. One member left. Rob went solo. There were delays, lawsuits, and whispers of creative differences. Fans wondered, was this the end? But they weren't done. This is the real story of Matchbox 20, their rise, their fall, and their surprising return to the stage. Rob Thomas was born on February 14th, 1972 in West Germany, where his father was stationed in the U.S. Army. He was raised in South Carolina and Florida by his mother. Brian Yale was born on November 14th, 1968 in Connecticut. Paul Doucette was born on August 22nd, 1972 in Ohio. Kyle Cook, born August 29th, 1975, came from Indiana. Adam Gaynor, born November 26, 1963, is from Manhattan. Each brought their own unique musical background and struggles to the band. Matchbox 20's origin story isn't your typical overnight success. It started in Orlando, Florida in the early 90s. Bars, small gigs, and a band called Tabitha's Secret. Rob Thomas, Brian Yale, and Paul Doucette were part of it, but creative tensions ran deep. So deep that the trio eventually left, looking for something new. That something came in the form of guitarist Kyle Cook and rhythm guitarist Adam Gaynor. Together, the five formed Matchbox 20. No dramatic reinvention, no label-crafted image, just five guys who clicked and made music that felt real. They weren't trying to be trendy. They didn't lean into glam or grunge. They wrote about everyday stuff: heartbreak, isolation, insecurity, trying to make sense of life. Their sound? A blend of pop rock with emotional grit, carried by Rob Thomas's unique voice. In 1996, they released their debut album, Yourself or Someone Like You. At first, it moved slowly, but then something clicked. Push, 3 a.m., Real World, and Back Too Good hit the radio and stayed there. Before they knew it, the album was everywhere. It sold over 15 million copies worldwide, dominated radio stations, and put them on MTV and Saturday Night Live. Fame hit them like a freight train. One moment they were nobodies, the next they were headlining arena tours and topping charts. It was wild, it was fast, and it was overwhelming. But behind the success, the pressure started to build. Constant touring, media expectations, internal friction. Being together nonstop for years takes a toll on any group, and Matchbox 20 was no exception. Still, in that moment, they'd changed everything. A group that started in bars had redefined pop rock for a generation. They didn't just make music, they made memories for millions. But, as with most great bands, the real drama was just getting started. Let's talk about what went down behind the music, because after the wild success of Yourself or Someone Like You, things started to shift, and not in a good way. Their second album, Mad Season, came out in 2000. On the surface, it was another smash. Bigger production, more polished sound, and hits like If You're Gone, Bent, and Mad Season dominated radio. The band was still riding high, at least publicly, but behind the scenes, cracks were forming. Rob Thomas wasn't just the frontman anymore. He was quickly becoming the guy, and it wasn't subtle. His vocals were front and center, and after his iconic duet with Santana on Smooth blew up, Rob turned into a household name, Grammy wins, magazine covers, endless talk show appearances. Suddenly, Matchbox 20 was starting to look like Rob Thomas and Friends. And let's be honest, when one person in a group starts shining that bright, it's bound to stir some feelings. While the band wanted to keep things tight and focus on Matchbox 20 as a unit, Rob had other ideas. He started flirting with solo material. And while that might be normal in the music world, it wasn't exactly welcome news to his bandmates. Rumblings of tension started. As if that weren't enough, lawsuit season hit. One particularly memorable case? Frank Torres, the man whose face ended up on the cover of their debut album. He wasn't amused. Claiming emotional distress, Torres sued the band, saying no one asked his permission to use his image. Whether it was a misunderstanding or just a legal mess, it brought some serious negative press and stirred even more chaos. Then, in 2002, they released More Than You Think You Are. The songs were solid, the fan base was loyal, but something felt off. The spark dimmed, the dynamic tense. And then, out of nowhere, rhythm guitarist Adam Gaynor was gone. No announcement, no farewell tour, he just quietly disappeared from the band. To this day, fans still debate whether Gaynor was pushed out or walked away. Was it creative conflict? Personality clashes? All of the above? Whatever the reason, by 2004, Matchbox 20 was no longer Matchbox 20. They didn't officially break up, but let's call it what it was, a full-blown hiatus. And at the time, it looked like the end. And the headlines didn't stop there. Rob opened up later about his battles with alcohol and his journey through rehab. There were also whispers about personality clashes that contributed to Gaynor's mysterious exit. The Frank Torres lawsuit added fuel to the media fire, and fans wondered what was next. While Matchbox 20 went radio silent, Rob Thomas took off in a different direction, solo. In 2005, he released Something to Be, his debut solo album. It was everything a solo project could hope for. Chart-topping, critically acclaimed, and unlike anything he'd done before. Mixing pop, funk, and rock. It was a glossier, more experimental sound. And it worked. But let's be real. This left Matchbox 20 fans feeling uneasy. Would the band even come back? Did Rob need them anymore? As Rob racked up Grammys, the remaining band members were in limbo. Interviews with the band hinted at a reunion, but nothing concrete came up. Then, in 2007, like a surprise twist, the band made their return. They dropped Exile on Mainstream, a greatest hits compilation with a few new tracks thrown in for good measure. It felt like a nostalgic hug from an old friend. The subsequent tour was massive. Fans filled up venues, singing along to songs they hadn't heard live in years. It was like a second chance, a glimpse of what Matchbox 20 once was. But as quickly as they had returned, they disappeared again. And that was that. The band had proven they could still deliver the magic, but the future was uncertain once more. The 2000s weren't easy for 90s rock bands. EDM and trap took over the charts. Rock was pushed aside, but Matchbox 20 wasn't ready to quit. In 2012, they dropped North, their first full studio album in 10 years. And guess what? It debuted at #1. That's right, #1. It was a big moment. It proved that even with shifting trends and new sounds, Matchbox 20 still mattered. Their fan base hadn't left. They were listening more than ever. But just as quickly as they came back, the band seemed to vanish again. Some tour dates got canceled. Side projects appeared, and fans began to ask the familiar question, was this really the end? Then came 2023. Out of nowhere, the band announced a brand new album. Where the Light Goes, new songs, a full tour. The band was back, minus Adam Gaynor. But what lit the spark again? Their classic song Push showed up in the Barbie movie, sung by none other than Ryan Gosling. A younger crowd heard it for the first time and instantly wanted to know, who sings this? Suddenly, Matchbox 20 wasn't just a throwback. They were trending. They didn't just survive pop's changing tides. They caught a new wave entirely. Today, Rob Thomas is estimated to have a net worth of around $17 million. He's married to model Marisol Maldonado since 1999, and while they don't have children together, Rob has a son, Mason, from a previous relationship. He's continued his solo career, written music for other artists, and even published a memoir titled, Hey, Can You Write This Down? Brian Yale is married to his wife, Sarah. They have no children. Kyle Cook married his wife, Sabrina, in July 1999. They have 2 daughters, Mackenzie, born on February 23, 1999, and Ava, born on March 28, 2002. Brian Yale, the bassist, keeps a lower profile with an estimated net worth of $4 million. He's involved in music production and lives a quiet life with his family. Brian Yale is known to keep his personal life private. As of now, There is no public information confirming whether he has children. Paul Doucette, estimated at $5 million, has pursued film scoring and is active in the creative arts scene. He's divorced and has one daughter. Kyle Cook, worth around $3 million, briefly left the band but returned. He's continued to release solo music and work on side projects. Adam Gaynor, no longer part of the band, has done motivational speaking and philanthropy. His net worth is about $2 million. Public records do not provide specific details about his marital status. So, what's the legacy of Matchbox 20? Are they the band with the one big album, the guys who took too many breaks, or are they something more? The truth is, they're all of it. They were messy, they were brilliant, they were flawed, but above all, they were real. They captured a moment in time when music meant something deeply personal. A song like 3 a.m. could make you feel less alone. When Unwell made mental health feel less taboo. When If You're Gone reminded you of heartbreak and healing. As of today, they're back on the road, still playing the hits, still experimenting, still proving that some bands don't fade, they just pause. And if you haven't listened to Matchbox 20 in a while, maybe it's time you hit play. Want more untold music stories, behind-the-scenes drama, and comebacks that shock the charts? Follow us now and don't miss the next chapter.